Welcome to my channel. It's part 4. What if Naruto was the grandson of Madara Uchiha? Let's start about the challenge that had presented itself to him. His opponent charged at him foolishly. The genin tried to make his fist one with his face, but Sasuke dodged and landed a kick on the genin's right shoulder, sending him flying. He took giant steps towards his opponent. He felt excited. He could try his best to enjoy this fight. His opponent recovered quickly and took a stance as he got ready for the coming Uchiha. With Naruto looked at the genin in front of him with an unreadable expression. The ancient genin did not waste time. He quickly tried to hit Naruto. He threw his right punch at Naruto. Naruto dodged like he was not even trying. The genin threw his right again. Naruto dodged easily. The ancient genin jumped back and stared at Naruto and smacked. He disappeared in a burst of speed that made Naruto raise a brow. But it was not a speed that could trouble him nonetheless. The genin appeared in front of him and tried kicking him on his chest. Naruto bended down to avoid the kick. The ancient genin seemed to have been expecting Naruto to do that. With admirable flexibility, he spun around in quick motion while bending down. He attempted a leg sweep on Naruto. Naruto was still bending but was quick, put his down to the ground as support and pushed his lower body upwards. Dodging the kick, he sensed someone coming from behind him and was quick to get up from his position. The boy he had kicked first stared at him, glared, but it was quickly replaced by a smirk. "You got lucky with that kick, but I will make you regret it," he said, confident that he would make Naruto regret. The boy he had been fighting took the opportunity where his eyes were at the other genin and charged at him. Naruto still had his other sense working. He spun around with fluidity and gripped the boy's face. He lifted the boy up in the air. The leader of the ancient genins rushed at Naruto, seeing that he was busy with something. Naruto sensed him and spun around while his right hand was firmly placed on his other opponent's face. He threw the genin at the other, making them hit each other. Both grunted as they got up. With Sasuke, Sasuke's Sharingan was active as his opponent rushed at him with surprising speed. He tried to kick Sasuke at his shoulder, but Sasuke blocked the attack with both his hands. The ancient genin, seeing that Sasuke's both hands were occupied, tried to punch Sasuke in the gut with his left hand, but Sasuke jumped back to avoid being hit. Sasuke smirked and rushed at his opponent. His right hand headed straight the genin's chest, but the ancient genin blocked that attack with both his hands. Sasuke followed up with his left back, hitting the genin in the face. He did not let his opponent recover. He kicked the genin hard at his waist, sending him flying away. The ancient genin gritted his teeth as he felt Sasuke's foot crashed into him. The kick hurt really badly. He was not given more time to dwell on his pain as Sasuke appeared before him. Sasuke gutted the genin hard with his fist. The genin clutched his chest in pain. Sasuke did not stop with his assault. He let loose of another punch that connected with his opponent's ribs. A hard kick to the temple followed his punch. His opponent was sent crashing to the trees. The ancient genin tried getting up, was felt winded due to the knocks he has received from Sasuke. Sasuke still had his smirk. "Are you going to give up?" With his Sharingan activated, his opponent could not land a hit on him as he would be able to predict the movements. He deactivated it. It was no longer needed. "Never!" his opponent yelled as he charged at him with his right hand raised. Sasuke sidestepped the attempt to punch him. He kicked the genin on his stomach, making him cough out blood. He did not let him fly away as he quickly grabbed his hand and punched him in the chest, making the genin cough more blood. Sasuke slammed his opponent down the ground, creating a small crater. His opponent was not yet out cold but looked to be barely conscious. He sighed and gave his opponent a knockout punch. He felt slightly out of breath. With Naruto, his opponent stared at him for a while before deciding to charge at him with their kunais at hand. A kunai was swung, trying to slice his cheeks. Naruto dodged at kunai and brought out his sword. He did not want to get cut when he could have done something to ensure that he did not get cut. His opponents continued trying to pierce him with their kunais while Naruto blocked and dodged their attempts. He finally got tired of playing and knocked off the genin's kunai from their hands. His ninjutsu sliced through one of his opponent's chest, and blood gushed from his wound. The wound was not deep but enough to make him bleed and cause him pain. The genin hissed in pain. Naruto moved closer to him and gripped the boy's neck before slamming him to the ground, creating a crater where the genin hit. The power of the slam was enough to knock the genin out cold. Naruto looked at his other opponent. Do you wish to continue dancing? He genin shook his head vigorously. Naruto disappeared from view and appeared behind the genin. He hit the genin at the back of his head before he could react, knocking him out cold. He sheathed his sword but not before wiping off the blood that had stained it. Not taking care of your weapon will make it dull. He always cleaned it whenever he used it. He was not much of a kenjutsu fighter, but a sword would have to do with him until he got used to carrying his gun by. Sakura joined him looking relieved. She did not get to fight and both her teammates had defeated their enemies without difficulty. That pleased her mind. She would have hated if one of her teammates had gotten hurt. She might not like Naruto, but at times she thanked Kami that he was on her team. Without his help at times they would never have completed some of their missions. He had also saved her life more than once. She was thankful for it even though she has never said thank you for it. She does know that Naruto did not care for her, and if they were not teammates he would have let her die whenever her life was in danger. Sasuke did the same a minute later. He searched the genin's pockets and found an earth scroll. They needed a heaven scroll. Sasuke grunted. He was expecting an earth scroll. He took the scroll and placed it in his pocket. It would prove useful in exchange for a scroll that they want. Naruto looked at both his teammates and sighed. We should camp here for the night. We will move out tomorrow morning, he said. They could not really travel for the night. Whenever it was night, the forest became a twin to darkness even when there was a full moon. It was a better choice to camp for the night. Sakura looked at him. Where are we going to sleep? We have no water to bath and no food to eat, she said in a loud voice. She could not believe that Naruto would suggest that they sleep in the middle of nowhere without shelter. They had not even eaten anything and she was a girl. She could not go to sleep without taking a bath. Naruto looked at the girl as if she was crazy. How can she think of bathing while they are stuck in a forest? Naruto thought. He looked away from the girl. He had no problems. He could stay you all night or spend the whole week without sleeping. As long as they would reach the tower tomorrow, he had no problems with starving himself either. But his teammates were not the same as him. That much he understood. He had to think of a better way to get his teammates food, or he would have to carry them to the tower. Stay here, I will be back in 20 minutes or less with food, he said after a long pause. Wasn't you the one who said we should not separate? Sakura asked. Naruto ignored her and blurred out of his teammates' view. If they did not separate, he would have been forced to carry them tomorrow because they would be hungry and tired. He had no intentions of doing something like that. Getting them food so that they could walk themselves was the best thing he could do. Sasuke could probably walk even if he was hungry, but would not be in a condition to fight. It was not that he would have problems fighting a team of genins. Where do you think he went, Sasuke? Sakura asked, looking at her precious Uchiha. Sasuke just shrugged and walked away from Sakura. He walked towards a tree, prompting Sakura to follow him. Sakura sat beside a tree next to Sasuke. She had never thought she would one day be stuck in a forest with Sasuke like she was at the moment. Never in her wildest imaginations had she thought this moment would occur. If Sasuke-kun was not so shy, who knows what we would have been doing, she thought, eyeing Sasuke with her cheeks giving birth to a blush. Sasuke-kun, do you want to go out on a date after we complete this test? Sakura asked. She had always been the one to take the initiative and ask Sasuke out. No, Sasuke replied coldly. The girl annoyed him. He had no intentions of going out on a date with her. He only cared about getting strong at the moment. Sakura felt as though her heart was just chewed and spat out. Sasuke always rejected her attempts to get him to go on a date with her. He had always shut the door at her face. Her mind could not say why Sasuke had found her annoying. She had thought it was because her beauty did not attract his eyes. She had always looked at her twin who resided in her mirror to see if she looked good. And each time she saw her twin, she thought she looked beautiful. But Sasuke's eyes seemed to have something that shadowed her beauty from him. She smiled sadly and looked down at her feet. She loved Sasuke and would never stop trying to win his affection. 17 minutes later, Naruto walked towards teammates carrying a small bag. He went over to them and sat down. He opened the bag and withdrew 2 scrolls. He threw one at Sasuke, who caught it. What is it? Storage seal. You do know how to use it, right? Sasuke felt offended by Naruto's question. How could he and Uchiha not know how to use a simple storage seal? Luckily Sakura spoke for him. Of course he knows how to use it. Naruto ignored her and continued looking at Sasuke. Sasuke opened the scroll and a seal appeared on it. He channeled chakra into the seal. A puff of smoke gave birth to two tents. He smiled along with Sakura. Sakura was quick to point out something. There are only two tents. The logical solution would be that Sasuke share a tent with Naruto since both were boys. But Sakura would not mind having to share a tent with Sasuke. In fact, if she was not shy to say it, she would have suggested it. You two will use the tents, I will keep watch while you sleep, Naruto said. Sakura had no complaints with what Naruto had just said. But Sasuke did. Naruto, why don't you sleep in the tent? I will take the first watch and wake you up after some time, he suggested. Naruto just shrugged. If Sasuke wanted to keep watch, he could keep watch. But that did not mean he was going to sleep in the tent. He opened his scroll, it was the same as Sasuke's. He channeled chakra into the seal and his puff of smoke gave birth to 3 food containers and 3 bottles of water. Sakura's stomach growled as her eyes looked at the food. She had only eaten in the morning. She did not wait for Naruto to give her the food. She crawled over to a container and took it. She retreated to her spot and began to eat the fish and bread Naruto had brought. She ate with eating manners. Despite her hunger, she refused to eat like a pig in front of Sasuke. Sasuke took his container and ate his food peacefully. Naruto did the same. He was glad that he had Zetsu to count on. They stayed in silence as night reigned over earth. Sakura was the first to sleep. With all the walking the whole day, she was tired and needed to sleep to replenish her stamina. Naruto stayed up with Sasuke. It was before midnight that Sasuke became sleepy. The tent was singing soothing songs to him that had him sleepy. He tried to resist, but his will was not strong enough. Sasuke looked at Naruto. Wake me up in 3 hours so I can take the watch and you can sleep, he said before crawling into his tent. Morning, Naruto woke up his teammates as it was time to move on towards the tower. They could not waste any more time sleeping. They had already wasted enough time already. Sasuke looked at Naruto. Why didn't you wake me up? Did I tell you I would wake you up? Naruto replied with a question, earning him a small glare from Sasuke. They were about to hit the road when Sakura spoke. Hey guys, what about the tents? Aren't we going to need them if we happen not to get to the tower before the end of the day? We will make it, Naruto said, looked at the tents and at Sasuke. Burn them with a fire jutsu. Sasuke though did not like taking orders from Naruto, he nodded and did a fire jutsu, burning the tents. They hopped onto the trees and made their way to the tower. A few hours later, they had been traveling for 3 hours. It was not non-stop, they had to take a few breaks to allow Sakura to regain her strength. Had it not been for the girl, they would have covered a lot of ground by now. It annoyed both Naruto and Sasuke and the number of breaks they had to take because Sakura always got tired after running for a few minutes. Sakura was by no means a stamina freak like Naruto. Naruto had more stamina than Kakashi, so she could not compare herself with him. She had only seen him slightly winded once. But even when he was winded, he would still push further like he was not tired. She did not understand where he got his energy from. He always seems to have more energy than anyone. Even at the academy, he always seemed energetic. Naruto stopped suddenly, causing his teammates to do the same. Someone strong is following us. After those words left Naruto's mouth, gusts of winds hit the genins, sending them flying. Even Naruto was caught. He had not been fast enough to react after sensing the chakra build-up. The gusts of wind were strong, but other than sending Team 7 crashing towards the trees, there was no injuries suffered. A Nyong wearing a Kusagakure forehead protector appeared in front of the genin. The Kusa Anyong was a woman. She unleashed her murderous killing intent. She enjoyed the look of fear her killing intent brought to her praise. She could never pass a chance to plant a seed of fear in her praise. It was always fun watching them cower in fear. It soothed her soul. The genins froze at their places. The killing intent had put them under an illusion. They watched themselves being killed in any ways. It was horrifying watching your own death. None was affected more than Sakura. The girl was on her knees, shuddering with eyes wide. The experience she was having now was far worse than what she had experienced at the wave mission when Zabuza had unleashed his killing intent. It was unbearable. She wished nothing more than death to make her one with it. Sasuke had thought it was genjutsu at first when he was seeing his death. But he had come to a realization that it was not illusion, it was just the effects of a killing intent by the Kusa-Anyong. His body failed to obey any command. His mind was screaming for his legs to carry him and run away. But all it got was silence from the feet. The pressure of the killing intent was so much that he too was forced into his knees. But he was not shuddering like Sakura. This time he could not blame the girl for shuddering in fear. Even he was doing his best to keep fluids from escaping his body. Naruto had experienced such level of killing intent. He had been exposed to his grandfather's intent so much that he had become resilient to fall for the horrors a strong killing intent brought. But it did not make him invincible to killing intents, not it allowed him to shake off the effects of a killing intent. But judging by the pressure of the killing intent, he could tell whoever the person was in front of them was strong, so strong that he knew he could not defeat. After sweating a few bullets, he shrugged off the killing intent and looked at the Kusa-Anyong with an unreadable expression. The Kusa-Anyong seemed amused by seeing Naruto shake off her killing intent. She could do worse than she was doing at the moment. But she chose not to. Her tongue escaped from her mouth and extended into a length that no human tongue should. The tongue kissed the frames of her mouth as she got ready to play with her praise. The Kusa-Anyong dashed forward at Sasuke, who was still suffering from the pressure of the killing intent. To him it felt like earth had brought out her hands and gripped him tightly. Upon seeing the Kusa-Anyong charging at him, Sasuke took out a kunai, stabbing himself to wear off the killing intent. His plan worked as he recovered and jumped away in time to avoid being hit by the Kusa-Anyong. He jumped on a tree branch and stared back at the Kusa-Anyong. Naruto found himself staring at yellow-silted eyes of a large snake. The snake could chew him to bits without breaking a sweat. Its eyes shined with a glint of malice as its fangs extended from its mouth. The snake rushed at him at fast speeds. His attention was not taken away from the Kusa-Anyong and Sasuke. He jumped up to avoid the snake's mouth. The snake followed him. Its head crashed into a tree he was on, breaking it. Naruto wondered what a snake was doing here. Of all the times, it just chose to attack him while his team was being attacked at the same time. It was too much of a coincidence. He sheathed his ninjutsu and rushed at the snake. Naruto jumped up onto the snake's head. The snake tried shaking him off its head, but Naruto held firmly. He channeled wind chakra to his blade and stabbed the snake's head. The snake hissed and shook violently. Naruto jumped off the snake and landed on the ground. He really should not be dragged into a fight with a snake. The snake rushed at him in fast speeds. Naruto rushed at it too. He threw his wind-enhanced blade straight into the snake's right eye, piercing it. The snake hissed in pain. Naruto rushed at the snake and jumped onto its head again. He withdrew his blade from the snake's eye. He punched the snake on its head. But his attempt did not do much damage to the snake. He jumped away from the snake. The snake opened its mouth and rushed at Naruto. Its fangs seemed to be attracted to his flash as the fangs got close to him, looking at be one with him. Naruto looked at welcoming mouth of the snake and jumped away. The snakes missed him and kissed the welcoming ground. Naruto stretched out his senses, finding that the Kusa-Anyong was still fighting with Sasuke and there was no other person other than Sakura near the place. He looked into the snake's eyes and activated his Sharingan. He refused to fight a snake further. His Sharingan morphed into his six-bladed Manchikyu. Naruto closed his right eye and concentrated his left eye on the snake. Amaterasu, he muttered as black flames engulfed the snake. The hissed in pain inflicted on it by the black flames. The snake began to roll uncontrollably on the ground while the black flames ate it. Naruto looked away from the snake and wiped off the blood leaking from his left eye. He was glad that for the exams he had no shadows following him. He blurred away, but not before deactivating his Sharingan. Had he stayed a bit longer, he would have seen the snake burst into a puff of smoke. With Sasuke stared at the Kusa-Anyong and then at Sakura. She seemed to have been doing fine. He saw a snake chase after Naruto. He did not have to worry about Naruto, for he knew that he could take care of himself. Right now he needed to worry about himself. His opponent was strong, he could feel that. The Kusa-Anyong chuckled looking at her prey. Sasuke could see the Kusa-Anyong's eyes were the eyes of a predator. He was the prey and the predator was staring at him in its glory. Come at me with all you got, Sasuke-kun, the Kusa-Anyong spoke with a grin. Sasuke did not want to be told twice. He charged at the Kusa-Anyong. The Kusa-Anyong blocked a kick that was directed to her temple by Sasuke. Sasuke tried to kick the Kusa-Anyong again, but his attempt was blocked again. Sasuke jumped back from the predator and activated his Sharingan. The Kusa-Anyong seemed to like seeing the Sharingan being activated. Yes, that's it, Sasuke-kun, show me what you can do, she thought as she continued to chuckle mirthlessly, unnerving Sasuke. He dashed forward at her and attempted to punch her on the face, but the Kusa-Anyong leaned back to avoid his attack. Sasuke leaned forward and tried another punch at the gut, but the Kusa-Anyong jumped to avoid being hit. Sasuke dashed forward, not giving his opponent rest. He jumped up into the air and attempted to punch the Kusa-Anyong while earth pulled him down. The Kusa-Anyong brought out both her hands and blocked Sasuke's attempt. She tried punching Sasuke on his chest, but Sasuke was able to see the attack thanks to his Sharingan. He jumped back to avoid being hit. The Kusa-Anyong rushed at Sasuke and tried kicking him, but Sasuke blocked the kick with his knee. Sasuke's right fist flew into the Kusa-Anyong's face, but she bent it down to avoid the attack. Sasuke saw an opening and got down, attempting a leg sweep. But the Kusa-Anyong jumped, returning the favor with a kick to the face. He was able to see the kick coming but was not able to neither dodge nor block the attack. It felt like he was being hit twice. Sasuke hit a tree with a grunt that followed after the impact. Is this all you can do, Sasuke-kun? Even your Sharingan? The Kusa-Anyong said while chuckling, earning a glare from Sasuke. He was trying to understand just who the person was. He could not land a hit on the person. The Kusa-Anyong did not wait for Sasuke to clear his thoughts. He dashed forward to the uchiha. Sasuke was forced to dodge a power punch that shattered the tree branch he was standing at. The Kusa-Anyong charged at Sasuke again. They engaged in a taijutsu fight. Sasuke smirked as he got a hit at the Kusa-Anyong face. He did not stop there, he added a kick to the chest that sent the Kusa-Anyong flying. He continued smirking, thinking that it was not hopeless as he had thought at first. Naruto had gotten back a few moments earlier and was watching the fight with interest. The Kusa-Anyong seemed to have his eyes only on Sasuke because he had yet to make a move on Sakura, who had just been watching the fight with worry all over her face. Sasuke did hand seals for his favorite jutsu, fire release, great fireball, he muttered as the fireball sped at the Kusa-Anyong. His smirk widened when he saw his jutsu hit the Kusa-Anyong. He ended his jutsu and saw the Kusa-Anyong standing there with his devilish grin placed on as if nothing had happened. His eyes widened in disbelief. It should not have been possible for someone to take on the jutsu and still stand like nothing had happened. He watched as the Kusa-Anyong's skin began to peel off, revealing a more pale skin. The Kusa-Anyong blurred out of view and appeared behind Sasuke. Sasuke was kicked hard on his back and sent crashing towards a tree. Grunted as he hit the tree. He got panting and looked back at the Kusa-Anyong. The Kusa-Anyong looked at Sasuke with calculating eyes. Sasuke was indeed a skilled young boy. She had proven it, and her eyes liked what he had witnessed from Sasuke. Naruto took the time to announce his presence before Sasuke. Kusa-Anyong. He ended his jutsu and saw the Kusa-Anyong standing there with his devilish grin placed on as if nothing had happened. His eyes widened in disbelief. It should not have been possible for someone to take on the jutsu and still stand like nothing had happened. He watched as the Kusa-Anyong's skin began to peel off, revealing a more pale skin. The Kusa-Anyong blurred out of view and appeared behind Sasuke. Sasuke was kicked hard on his back and sent crashing towards a tree. Grunted as he hit the tree. He got panting and looked back at the Kusa-Anyong. The Kusa-Anyong looked at Sasuke with calculating eyes. Sasuke was indeed a skilled young boy. She had proven it, and her eyes liked what he had witnessed from Sasuke. Naruto took the time to announce his presence before Sasuke got killed. But he felt that the Kusa-Anyong was just playing with Sasuke. He felt that if the Kusa-Anyong wanted to kill Sasuke, she would have done it already. She had many opportunities to inflict serious damage to Sasuke but did not. It was making him answer a lot of questions. First it was the snake, now it was this. There was only question that he felt worthy of being asked at the moment. His eyes traveled towards the Kusanryong. Who are you? Naruto stood still staring at the Kusanryong waiting for an answer. He was truly curious as to who the person was. It was not every day that one found such a strong person in the Chunin exams. With the power the Kusanryong had, he should not have been a genin. And there was also the person's clear interest in Sasuke Uchiha. The Kusanryong was not the first person to show interest in Sasuke. There was also Kabuto who showed interest in Sasuke at the first part of the exams. I am the one who should be asking the questions, Naruto-kun. The Kusanryong replied, sounding amused by the question. Naruto just stood there staring at the Kusanryong before sighing. He was not going to get the answer he had requested. By the looks of things, the Kusanryong just wanted to play around with them. He could always join and have some fun too. Naruto charged at the Kusanryong, engaging the Kusanryong in a taijutsu battle. He tried punching the Kusanryong in the face, but she jumped back to avoid Naruto's punch. Naruto followed her and tried kicking as a follow-up to his dodged punch. The Kusanryong caught his attack with little effort. Naruto was expecting something like this, so in quick movement his fist connected with the Kusanryong's face, sending her flying away from him. Naruto did not stop with his attacks. He dashed toward the Kusanryong in Jonin speeds. She was worthy of it. Naruto appeared in front of the Kusanryong and pummeled her to the ground with both his hands. She was sent crashing down and created a crater upon impact. Naruto jumped onto a tree branch and looked at the Kusanryong. She got up from the crater and looked at Naruto with a malicious smile. So the rumors I have heard about you are true, Naruto-kun? Naruto looked at the woman carefully. She did not seem to have taken any damage or even bothered by his attacks at all. She looked to have just brushed them off. Nothing, it was nothing. He had thought it would cause a bit of damage even if it was little. The Kusanryong charged at Naruto and tried punching him at his chest, but Naruto blocked her blow with both his hands. She tried kicking him with her right foot. Naruto jumped back to avoid the effort to kick him. The moment he landed on the ground, she was right in front him. She landed a powerful kick on his chest, sending him crashing towards the trees. Naruto grunted as he hit a tree hard. The Kusanryong appeared in front of him again. You are better than Sasuke-kun, but I have no interest in you at the moment, the Kusanryong said, punching Naruto hard in the stomach. Naruto grunted. He felt the punch connect with his gut. He coughed up a bit of liquid and fell on his knees while clutching his stomach in pain. The Kusanryong turned her back on him and looked back at Sasuke. Sasuke stood there watching with wide eyes. He had never seen anyone manhandle Naruto. Whenever he had seen Naruto fight with an enemy, he had always won each time. He had never been beaten with ease, like he was some kind of weak genin. He was starting to fear for his life now. If the Kusanryong could beat Naruto the way she did, what could he do to her? Naruto had always been superior to him, so could he fight someone who defeated Naruto with ease? Despite him hating that fact, he knew that Naruto was superior to him. The Kusanryong turned to Naruto again and kicked him hard on the temple, sending him flying away. She looked back at Sasuke again. No, Sasuke-kun, shall we continue where we were? The Kusanryong said, looking at Sasuke with a wide grin that sent chills to Sasuke's spine. Sasuke did not know what to do at that moment. He was overcome with fear. His legs failed to respond to the commands he gave to it. The Kusanryong rushed at Sasuke, slamming her foot in his gut. Sasuke was sent flying. He held his stomach while he panted. The Kusanryong was in front of him again. Sasuke reacted quicker by pulling out a kunai from his pouch and stabbed the Kusanryong on her neck. But the Kusanryong crumbled down into dust, making Sasuke widen his eyes. He did not even see he had hit a clone even with his Sharingan. His time to be shocked was cut soon as the Kusanryong appeared behind him and kicked him, sending him flying away. Sasuke hit a tree and fell down to the ground. He got up panting and tried looking for the Kusanryong. Are you looking for me, Sasuke-kun? The Kusanryong called out in mirth. Sasuke gritted his teeth in frustration because he was unable to find the Kusanryong anywhere despite hearing her voice. He was also getting beat up, something that he hated with all his Uchiha pride. Naruto looked from the tree as he had been recovering from after the last Kusanryong's attack that had fallen at him. He replaced himself with a clone and hid somewhere he could not be seen. He did it in a way that no one would see. The clone remained on the tree acting beat up while he hid. He could see where the Kusanyeong was hiding, but she could not see or sense him. He had hid himself in the shadows. He activated his Sharingan. He had no choice but to do this. His Sharingan morphed into the Manchkyu. He concentrated on the Kusanyeong. Having finally locked at the target, he muttered, Amaterasu. The black flames engulfed the Kusanyeong. She was not able to sense the built-up chakra in his left eye to dodge the attack. As the black flames began to eat her body, she fell down from the tree she was concealing her position at. She fell to the ground while she screamed in pain. The black flames burned hotter than any flames in existence, and there was no way to extinguish them. Once one was caught in them, they were surely going to die, unless the flames were put off by the one who ignited them. She stopped rolling on the ground and her mouth opened. Another body came from the mouth looking perfectly fine. But the body was different from the Kusanyeong. Naruto deactivated his Sharingan and dispelled his clone. If what he was seeing had shocked him, he hid it well. He walked up to the clearing and looked at the black-haired male with a pale skin and yellow eyes, Orochimaru. Orochimaru looked at Naruto with his malicious grin firmly in place. The jutsu that had hit him was definitely not an ordinary jutsu. Had it not been for his ability to shed his skin, he would have been surely burned to dust by the black flames. He would never want to get hit by the jutsu anytime soon. The flames ate his body instead of just burning. A normal fire jutsu would have just given him third-degree burns. It made him curious. If he was not mistaken, the black flame jutsu could only be used by an uchiha with a Manchkyu Sharingan. He had researched everything there was about the Sharingan, and thus knew about the jutsu. He looked at Naruto with calculating eyes. It was not Sasuke who had used the jutsu. Sasuke had yet to awaken his Manchkyu. He did not sense any other presence close by. It only meant that it had to be Naruto who did the jutsu. But that only begged a question. How? Naruto was not an uchiha, and did not have the Sharingan. The only special thing about Naruto was that he was a Jinchuriku, nothing more. So he could not understand how Naruto was able to do the Amaterasu. On the outside he may look like he was enjoying something, but inside his head questions had been triggered and he was unable to find the answers. The only way to get answers was to do it the easy way. An interesting jutsu, Naruto-kun. Can you tell me how you did it? As far as I know, only a person with the Manchkyu Sharingan can summon black flames. Naruto was not going to answer the question. The answer he would give Orochimaru would make Orochimaru curious. He was not going to make Orochimaru even more curious about him. Doing something like that would be dangerous for his secrets. As far as he knew, Orochimaru was a very curious person and had an obsession with wanting to know all the secrets of the world. So making Orochimaru curious would only make the snake Sennin come after him with his snakes searching for intel on him. He had already made the snake curious by using Amaterasu. He had been hoping it would end the battle. But seeing Orochimaru shed his skin made him curse. I should have noticed sooner that it was you. It was not a coincidence that a snake attacked me just after you made your presence known. They were your summons. Naruto said, what is an S-rank criminal doing in the Chunin exams? He asked, brushing off Orochimaru's curiosity about his jutsu. Sakura was now shuddering. She heard Naruto say Orochimaru, but she did not recognize the name at first, but when he said S-rank criminal she recognized him. He was one of the 3 legendary ninjas. There was no way they were going to make it out alive with their enemy was a Sennin. Hope had abandoned her with the thought that her enemy was a Sennin. They were a couple of rookies and no match for a Sennin. She did not even feel safe knowing that Sasuke and Naruto were also there. If Naruto did not stand a chance against the Sennin, there was no way Sasuke could stand a chance. Naruto saw Orochimaru's grin falter for a second before it appeared again. Orochimaru was dissatisfied with Naruto's response. He had thought the blonde would be kind enough to answer his question, but it did not seem that his questions were going to be answered. But the fact that Naruto avoided answering his question made him even more curious. You are proving to be an interesting genin, Naruto-kun. But as I have said before, you are not what I am interested in, Orochimaru said with a dark chuckle while he eyed Sasuke with calculating eyes. Naruto never took his eyes off Orochimaru. Uchiha Sasuke, Naruto said aloud what Orochimaru was interested in. What could you a seinen want from Sasuke? His hatred, Sharingan, skills. What is it that you find interesting in Sasuke? Naruto asked, trying to find why Orochimaru would risk coming to Konoha because of Sasuke. Orochimaru seemed amused by Naruto's questions. He did not respond for a moment though. He narrowed his eyes at Sasuke and looked back at Naruto. He chuckled evilly. He rushed at Naruto in great speeds. Naruto saw the seinen coming and jumped onto a tree branch. Naruto knew he could not defeat Orochimaru even at his full power. Fighting a seinen was out of his league. He could fight a few jonins, but a seinen was just too much for him at his current level of strength. It just meant he had to do more training till he surpassed all the senins. Given that he could not defeat Orochimaru, he was not even afraid of dying. He knew that Orochimaru did not want them dead. He wanted them to live. If he wanted them dead, he would have already killed Sakura by now, or even Sasuke. Orochimaru followed Naruto onto the trees, but this time a little faster than before. He appeared in front of Naruto and tried to level him with an uppercut. Naruto jumped back to avoid being hit. He was just fast enough to react. Had he not been able to dodge the punch, it would have done him no good. The wind the breeze hit his face made him realize that Orochimaru had put a lot of power behind the punch. He sensed that Orochimaru was still holding back his speed, but the power of the punch was strong enough to knock any genin out cold. While Naruto was still jumping away, Orochimaru appeared in front of Naruto. Had it not been Sasuke, I would be certainly interested in you, but don't worry, I will never forget this encounter, Orochimaru whispered to Naruto. He tried kicking Naruto at his waist, but Naruto lifted up his knee and blocked the kick. Orochimaru brought out his left leg and tried to kick Naruto, but Naruto blocked the blow, again with his knee. Naruto wanted his hands to be free so that he would be able to deal with what Orochimaru might try to deal him with. Orochimaru brought his right fist and tried to punch Naruto in the face, but Naruto blocked the attack. Orochimaru was not surprised. He was anticipating the block from Naruto. He moved quickly and kneed Naruto on his gut. Naruto hissed while clutching his stomach. Orochimaru kicked harder than he had anticipated. Orochimaru punched Naruto in the face and spun around for a roundhouse high kick. He kicked Naruto at the temple, sending the blonde crashing towards the trees. He grinned. He had put a lot of power behind the kick. He wanted to get out of the forest before Ambu sensed him within the forest. It would get messy if Ambu were to come at the forest. Orochimaru was not given time to recover from his one-sided battle with Naruto as Sasuke came flying towards him. He sensed the boy's chagrin at him and spun around to face the boy. Sasuke tried punching the seinen in the face, but Orochimaru caught Sasuke's hand. He held it tightly and began to squeeze it, making Sasuke grunt. Orochimaru looked at Sasuke's eyes with a malicious grin, earning a slight shiver from Sasuke. Orochimaru kneed Sasuke on the gut while holding his arm. It was just more pain to Sasuke, and he was starting to think that there was nothing he could do about it. Orochimaru gripped Sasuke's face and sent him crashing towards the trees. He charged at the Uchiha in Jonin speeds but was stopped on his tracks by a kick to the face that sent him flying backwards. Their only reason he was hit was because he had thought Naruto would not be able to wake up anytime soon after the beating he had given to the blonde. Naruto charged at Orochimaru again in great speeds. He was welcomed by a knee on his gut. You did good, Naruto-kun, catching me off guard like that, Orochimaru said with a low chuckle. He grabbed Naruto's face and smashed the blonde down to the ground. The impact formed a crater on the ground. Orochimaru crashed his foot onto Naruto's chest while the blonde was still lying down in the crater. Naruto coughed up blood because of the hit. He could feel it. He was losing a lot of his energy. It was not good for him to lose his strength the way he was at the moment due to the beating he was receiving from Orochimaru. Orochimaru grabbed Naruto by his foot and swung him around twice before sending him crashing towards the trees. He did not stop there. He rushed at Naruto again and grabbed him by the neck. He could almost lick the blood that was dripping from the blonde's mouth. But he had other businesses to attend to. Naruto was having hard time breathing because his body was worn out, and Orochimaru's hand that was on his neck was making it difficult for him to breathe. He struggled to get out of Orochimaru's grin, but to no avail. Orochimaru slammed Naruto to the ground again. "Stay down, Naruto-kun. Sasuke-kun is waiting for me." Orochimaru said. "It's hopeless. I'm going to die." Sasuke thought to himself with wide eyes. He had just seen how Naruto was defeated like he was nothing. He knew that if Naruto had been beaten off that easily, there was no way he would have a chance against the enemy. The man was a senin after all. There was really no hope of a genin winning a fight against a senin. Orochimaru appeared a good distance away from Sasuke. Sasuke was leaning against a tree, breathing rather heavily. He was tired from all the fighting he had to do since the senin had ambushed them. He watched as Orochimaru made his way slowly at him. Fear began to grip him tightly at each step Orochimaru took towards him. He felt like the fear was draining him of the little energy he had in reserve. The fear rendered him immobile. It brought a cold to his body, making him shudder. Sasuke's body began to tremble uncontrollably as Orochimaru drew closer to him. He was frightened that he was going to die, death without even getting his revenge. Orochimaru enjoyed watching the terror-stricken Uchiha. He loved seeing his prey cowering in fear. "Stay back. Don't come any closer." Sasuke stuttered out, seeing Orochimaru making his way to him. Orochimaru did not stop. He slowly made his way over to Sasuke with calculating eyes. "Do you want power, Sasuke-kun?" Orochimaru asked with a wide grin. Sasuke lost his fear and took a confused look on his face. He wanted power. What confused him was why Orochimaru would ask him the kind of question. Orochimaru stopped in front of Sasuke and spoke again. "I know you want power to kill Itachi, Sasuke-kun, and I can give you that power." Sasuke's eyes burned with hatred the moment Itachi's name was registered to his mind. He hated nothing and no one more than Itachi. Orochimaru's widened upon seeing the hatred within Sasuke's eyes. His neck extended in lengths that no human neck should extend. Two large fangs grew from his mouth as his head traveled towards Sasuke's neck. Sasuke just froze, not knowing what to do. Orochimaru's fangs became one with Sasuke's neck before Orochimaru retrieved his head. Sasuke let out a pained scream before falling down. "Sasukekun!" Sakura yelled out while rushing at the fallen form of Sasuke. She had heard his pained scream. It was not healthy. She ran to see if he was okay. Orochimaru looked at Sakura with a wide grin. He chuckled darkly. He had achieved what he had come for and more. It was just a matter of time before Sasuke came to him looking for power. "What did you do to Sasuke-kun?" Sakura demanded, forgetting that the person in her front was a senin and could kill her in a second. She was just too angry that he had hurt Sasuke. Orochimaru was amused by the girl's bravery. "I gave him a gift that will help him avenge his clan." Orochimaru replied as he sank into the ground, but not before eyeing where Naruto was lying. Sakura got down to her knees beside Sasuke. She would deal with what Orochimaru had said later, but right now Sasuke's health was her main priority. "Sasuke-kun," she muttered softly. He was out cold. A world of darkness had consumed him. He could not hear any word she could say to him that made her sad. She wanted to cry, but now was not the time for that. She had to be strong for Sasuke. Sasuke had always protected her, but now it was her time to protect him. With Naruto brought out both his hands to his face. He stared at them for a moment. Today he had been embarrassed. No one had beaten him like Orochimaru had done. A senin was truly strong, but to be thrown around like a ragged doll was just too damning for his pride. Orochimaru had toyed with him, shown him the difference between their powers. It made him feel weak. He hated feeling weak. To think I would get beaten like this despite all the training I did. Naruto thought aloud. Even though he was still hiding some of his power, it did not change the fact that he was beaten. Taijutsu had been what he trained the most while he was training with his grandfather. "I wonder what you would say seeing me like this, Madara." He thought aloud again. His grandfather would surely not have been pleased with his performance despite not going all out. It would not have made much of a difference. Orochimaru was just stronger than he was. When he thought of going all out, Madara had told him that he never went all out unless he was fighting against Hashirama. Madara was strong, but at the moment he was not. This experience only meant he had to train even harder than he had been. For him to surpass his grandfather, he had to focus on training than he had been after he became a genin. Naruto shook his head and got up. His body was beat, but he could last for a few more hours. He dusted himself up and wiped the blood off his mouth. He walked over to his teammates. Naruto looked over at his teammates. Sakura was kneeling beside Sasuke, who looked like he was unconscious. He walked over to them and inspected Sasuke. Sasuke did not have much damage to his body, unlike him. There was a strange seal on his neck. He figured it must have been Orochimaru's cursed seal of heaven. With Sasuke unconscious, he would have to be carried if they are to get to the tower before night takes its shift. Sakura looked at Naruto. She did not know what to say to him. After watching him get beat up, his clothes were torn up, but he looked fine for someone who had just went through a rough beating. Naruto picked up Sasuke and placed him on his shoulder. He looked at Sakura. Let's head straight to the tower. I don't want to spend another night in this forest, he said. Sakura nodded. She too did not want to spend another night in the forest. And going to the tower now was a good thing, since they would take Sasuke to a medic. She felt his body heating up. If he was sick, they needed to take him to a medic for treatment. They also did not know what Orochimaru had done to Sasuke. So getting to the tower, they would surely meet someone who would tell them what had been done to Sasuke. A few hours later, it was already past noon. Naruto and Sakura had been running at fast speeds. It was most surprising that Sakura was keeping up with Naruto without complaining about being tired. Sakura understood that it was not the time for her to be lazy, but a time for her to endure everything and keep on going till they reached the tower. They had only taken 2 breaks since they continued on with their journey to their tower after the encounter with Orochimaru. Nothing interesting had happened in their way. They had just been traveling in comfortable silence. No one was saying a word to the other. Naruto had a lot in his mind and would rather be quiet than having to deal with Sakura. Sakura, on the other hand, was worried about Sasuke and did not know how she could start a conversation with Naruto without Sasuke being active. So she decided to enjoy the silence as much as she could. While they were running, she kept glancing at Naruto. He did not look the same after the encounter with Orochimaru. In fact, he looked worn out. She had never seen him worn out before since the formation of Team 7. But she was glad nonetheless that he was carrying Sasuke to the tower. They had yet to meet another team while on their way to the tower. It was becoming a troubling fact to Sakura, since they would fail if they did not get the scroll they needed. But at the moment, while looking at Sasuke, whose temperature seemed to be rising up, she thought the most important thing was getting Sasuke to safety. Naruto suddenly fell down on his knees while he was running. Sasuke was still on his shoulder. His body was in pain. He did not understand what could have been causing to feel the way it was. During the encounter with Orochimaru, he did not receive blows that could cause his body to experience the pain he was currently feeling. Sakura was alarmed when she saw Naruto fall to his knees. She hurried close to him. "Are you all right, Naruto?" she asked, sounding concerned. With the look on her face, it was obvious that her question did not betray what she truly felt. Naruto looked at the girl for a second. Never had she asked him the kind of question before. He thought it was because he had never been in pain in her presence before. He gathered his strength and got up while still carrying Sasuke on his shoulder. "I'm fine," he said. "We will take a break not far from here. There should be a stream just ahead." Sakura nodded. She was getting hungry. She had not eaten anything since morning, and all the traveling she had been doing was making her hungry. At the stream, she would freshen up a bit and get some fish to eat. About an hour later, Team 7 had reached the stream. Naruto had placed Sasuke under a tree, allowing Sakura to tend to him. He had yet to wake up from the encounter with Orochimaru. His heat was still rising. Naruto could not tell what was going on with Sasuke's body, but he was certain that his body was heating because of the curse mark Orochimaru had placed on him. He did not understand what the cursed seal did to a person's body, as he had no depth knowledge about the seal. Naruto and Sakura were currently eating some fish they had caught. They were eating in silence. Sakura seemed to have something to say but had not courage to do so. Finally, she brought her courage. "Naruto, what is that weird mark on Sasuke-kun's neck?" Naruto responded without even looking up to the girl. "It's a cursed seal." Sakura looked confused. She had never heard anything about a cursed seal. "What is a cursed seal?" Naruto looked at her and replied, "It's a seal created by Orochimaru that gives the wielder power. The look Naruto had given Sakura was the one that told the girl to ask no more questions. Naruto got up and turned to the stream. "You should rest, we will move again within an hour," he said, making his way to the stream. He had already cleaned himself up while the fish was cooking. What he needed now before they continued on to the tower was to relax his body. The pain had left him, but not entirely. Some parts of his body still hurt. He was troubled by the realization that he had lost his ninjutsu at the place they had encountered Orochimaru. He had cursed upon realizing that he did not have it with him when he was cleaning himself up. It did not cost him much, but having to lose something belonging to him was not something he tolerated or liked. He had lost his sword because of Orochimaru. It served as another reason for him not to like the snake Sennin. It did not take long before the relaxation time was disturbed by a team of genins from Takegakure. There were 3 males, each of the same height. They did not look strong. They were weak, a fact that annoyed Naruto. He was in no mood to deal with weak genins at the moment. Dealing with weak ninjas was an annoyance to him that he would rather avoid. Fighting weak ninjas never challenged him. A fight without being challenged bored him. Naruto might have been just annoyed seeing the genins. But Sakura was on another level of reaction upon seeing the arrival of the Taki genins. She did not know what she was going to do, since she was not sure if Naruto could fight because he did not look to be well and Sasuke was still out cold. "Give us the scroll and we won't hurt you," one of the genins said aloud. Naruto got up and walked towards the genins. He stopped midway before he reached them. "No," he said. "But however, I will request that you go away and leave your scroll behind. If you refuse, I will show you just how much of annoyances you are," he said in a tone dripping with danger. The danger did not seem to reach the Taki genins. "There are 3 of us. One of your teammates is unconscious," one said, pointing at Sasuke, "and the other is a girl who looks really weak. Do you really think you can take us on?" Naruto said nothing for a moment. Numbers did not faze him. The genins were nothing but annoyances that were making his bad day even worse than it already was. "Fools," he said more to himself, but the Takegakure genins heard him. "Who are you, Cal?" One of the genins wanted to retort, but he never finished his sentence as Naruto's powerful fist crashed into his gut. The genin ripped some fluids from his mouth because of the impact of the punch and dropped to his knees. Naruto quickly grabbed the other 2 genins' necks and held them tightly, making it hard for the genins to breathe. "I guess I will take out whatever I'm feeling out on you fools. This will also be a lesson to you that you should never underestimate your opponent," Naruto said impassively. He kicked the genin who was on his knees on the face, sending him flying away. He brought the 2 genins who were struggling to get out of his hold together in front of him. He slammed them both to the ground, creating a small crater. He picked up one and kneed him hard. He followed by a powerful punch to the gut. The knee and the punch caused the genin to cough out blood. Naruto followed his assault by a high roundhouse kick that sent the genin flying away. He picked up the other and repeated the same punishment he gave the other. They were all in the same place, lying down. Naruto walked slowly towards them. He had not even released any excess energy yet. Naruto reached the 3 genins and looked down at them. They lost conscious, he said to himself. He had not even hit them too much. It was just a few blows and they had already lost their consciousness. It was very disappointing. He bent down and searched the genins' pockets looking for their scroll. While he was searching, a malicious burst of chakra washed over the area. The chakra was pregnant with evil intentions. It made Sakura nervous and scared her. The source of the evil chakra was the now awakened Uchiha Sasuke. He was covered with flame patterns all over his body. His appearance frightened Sakura. Naruto chose to ignore it and continued with his search. Sasuke had just woken up and the power of the cursed seal had activated. He had never felt so powerful before. The power was just great. He felt like he could defeat anyone with the power he had now. He laughed evilly within himself. He needed to test this power and see what he could do with it. He looked around and saw Naruto standing up in the middle of 3 fallen genins. Naruto will prove to be a good test, he thought as he walked over to the blonde. Naruto felt relieved. He had found a heaven and earth scroll. With the scrolls they could go to the tower without taking detours to look for scrolls. They needed both heaven and earth scroll to pass the second test of the Chunin exams. He was curious though as how the Genins had gotten their hands on both scrolls. They were weak, so he could not think that they could defeat another team of Genins. It was unless they had ambushed another team which had separated. He looked over to see Sasuke making his way over to him. With the look the Uchiha was showing off, he knew what was coming and he was not going to give in to it. "Fight me, Naruto," Sasuke demanded, staring at Naruto. Naruto was not given time to respond as Sakura spoke before he could. "Sasuke-kun, don't." Sakura cried out. Sasuke did not bother to look at her, his eyes stayed focused on Naruto. Naruto sighed and replied, "No," he said, "we should go ahead to the tower now since we have all the scrolls." Sasuke gritted his teeth in anger. Naruto always brushed him off every time he challenged him. It was like Naruto saw him as nothing like a nuisance, as someone who was not worth his time. It infuriated him to no end. He activated his Sharingan and charged at the blonde. Naruto saw Sasuke coming and dropped the scrolls down. He blocked Sasuke's punch and tried punching Sasuke on his face. Sasuke dodged Naruto's punch. Naruto tried again but Sasuke dodged again. Sasuke smirked. "I can see all your attacks before they reach me," he said, his Sharingan blazing proudly. Naruto realized that he was not moving as fast as he usually does. It confused him because he did not understand why he was not moving as fast as he could. He did not have much time to dwell on his thoughts as Sasuke was dashing towards him. Naruto got ready to defend himself. But pain gripped him from all over his body. It felt like his muscles were being ground. A severe headache attacked him. The headache coupled with the pain all over his body forced him to fall onto his knees. Sasuke did not stop upon seeing Naruto fall to his knees. He continued on with his charge and punched Naruto on his face, following with a kick to the temple. Naruto was sent flying. Sasuke grinned seeing that he was finally beating Naruto. He was actually doing it. It only meant that he was a step away from achieving his grand ambition. Naruto got up but only to fall down to his knees. He coughed a large amount of blood. He was breathing heavily and his body seemed to be sweating heavily. Sakura saw him and could tell that the blood Naruto had coughed out was not because of Sasuke's attack. Naruto was just not well, she could tell. After the encounter with Orochimaru, she had seen him struggle as if his body was in pain, though he hid it too well. She was about to yell for Sasuke to stop when Sasuke stopped and stared at Naruto. She liked the idea of Sasuke beating Naruto, but she thought it was wrong taking advantage of Naruto while he was in the kind of situation he was in. Sasuke was now confused. Despite his arrogance, he was smart enough to realize that something was wrong with Naruto. The amount of blood Naruto had coughed was unhealthy and could not have been caused by his attack. The black marks around his body receded back to the cursed mark. Sasuke fell down on his knees as the flames disappeared. He felt a bit of pain on his neck, but it quickly disappeared. He got up again and looked at Naruto before looking away. He was too proud to ask the blonde what was wrong. He went to pick up the scrolls Naruto had dropped. Sakura now did not know what to do. Sasuke was now awake, she could go to him, but Naruto was not well. He needed help. Serious help, and soon. She felt relieved when Naruto got up and went straight to the stream. She watched him wash himself up. Naruto cleaned himself up at the stream. His body was still in pain, but it was not as much as before. Soon the pain would fade away, but it troubled him not knowing what was causing the pain. Zetsu would have the answers he needed. An hour later, Sasuke walked to Naruto and stood beside the blonde. Naruto seemed fine by the way he looked. They could now continue with their way to the tower. By the end of the day they should have arrived at the tower. "Naruto," he called, "we should head to the tower now," he said. Naruto just nodded and got up. Sakura had already seemed ready to move on. He figured Sasuke might have talked with her first before coming to him. Without any other words being exchanged, they left the stream and headed for the tower at a fast pace. Later, Team 7 had reached the tower just after it had started to get dark. They had traveled comfortably without any other team confronting them. After they had reached the tower, they opened the scrolls. The scrolls had a summoning seal inside them. Their scroll summoned Iruka, who explained to them the meaning of the scrolls and congratulated them on passing the second test. Iruka told them of where they ought to be resting. The genins went inside the tower and got inside their room. Naruto went straight to his bed without doing anything else. He jumped onto the bed and was fast to fall asleep. Sakura looked at Sasuke. "Nee Sasuke-kun, is he going to be alright?" "HN," was the reply Sasuke gave her. "It's not like I care about him or anything, but he is our teammate," she said, again looking at Naruto. Sasuke said nothing. He looked at Naruto and went to his own bed. He needed to rest. What he had done for the day was rewarding for him to get some much needed rest. Sakura saw that Sasuke too had gone to get some sleep. She sighed. They went to sleep without even bathing when there is a shower. She thought to herself. She had slept the previous night without bathing. She was not going to do it again. Not to her precious body. Set to a few days later, Naruto looked around, standing inside of a hall. It was in the center of the tower. The deadline had passed and all the genins were all gathered in the room. It was only those who passed the second exam. Their only people Naruto found to be interesting were Subaku no Gaara, Yakushi Kabuto, and Rock Lee. The other genins were just annoyances. All the Jonin senseis were all in the room. The Hokage was also there. Sitting on his chair beside him were Anko and Ninja. Above the balcony behind where the Hokage stood there was a statue that showed arms holding a ram seal. Looking at the balcony and where they stood, Naruto could tell that the floor they stood at was used for fighting while the balcony was for the spectators. Anko stepped forward. "Congratulations on passing the second test of the Chunin exams," she said, looking around the room. Many genins had passed her test. She had not been expecting these many to pass. "The Hokage will now explain the third exam," she said, giving the time to the Sandemi Hokage to address the genins. Everyone looked at the Hokage to hear what he was going to say. The Hokage cleared his throat and spoke. "Before I explain the third exam to you, I would like to tell you the true meaning of this Chunin selection exam. Why do we have allied countries taking the exam at the same time, even some neutral countries?" He paused to let them think before answering his own question. "To promote friendship among countries, to raise the standard of shinobi. Do not be confused. This exam is war." The genin grew confused and the tension rose within the large room. If we were to turn back time at some point, all of us would be fighting the other country over who would rule. This exam is an alternate that allows countries to avoid such wasteful fighting. For the third exam, lords of all the countries as well as leaders of your villages will all be watching your fights. You will fight with your life on the line, not to protect your home's land but its prestige. If your country is seen as weak, you will lose clients. If you are strong, you will gain clients, bolstering your homes. If your country is seen as strong, it will also send a message to all nations. The Hokage paused for a moment to catch his breath. Isn't there another way to protect the village's prestige without having to risk our lives? A random genin asked, to which some other genins nodded in agreement with his words. The Sandemi narrowed his eyes at the genins. The strength of the country is the strength of the village, such as the strength of a village is the strength of a shinobi. A shinobi's strength is only born in life-threatening battle. The Sandaime replied seriously. This exam only has a meaning because there is life-threatening battles. Friendship between countries requires this. We call this friendship excising. The Hokage said as a man Shunshin next to him and bowed in respect. "Allow me to cough," explained the third test. "Cough, Hokage-sama." The man spoke, looking at the Sandaime Hokage. The Hokage nodded and went back to his seat. The Jonin turned to face the genins. "I am Gecko Head, the proctor of the third exam." The Jonin introduced himself. "There is something we must do before the third exam." The genins looked at the man. He looked like he was really sick by the way he was coughing. "There is to be preliminaries to decide who gets to participate in the main event," the third proctor said before coughing. "What the hell preliminaries?" A bored-looking Nara asked the question. "We have too many participants for the third test, thus we have to thin out the numbers under the Chunin exam rules." He paused for a moment before speaking. "Those who wish to withdraw may step forward now. This is individual basis. Should you quit, your team will not be penalized for it." Kabuto raised his hand and stepped forward. "I quit. I'm low on chakra," he said, leaving the hall. Head coughed. "Is there anyone else who wants to quit?" he asked, getting the attention of the genins. No one else came forward. They had come this far. They were not going down without a fight. Okay, we have 22 contestants, which mean we will have 11 matches. The winners of each will advance to the finals. The rules are simple. There are no rules. The match continues until one dies or is knocked. If you wish to give up, you can forfeit. I will step in should you be declared winner and you continue to beat your opponent. He paused, letting the genins absorb his words. Now let us see who you will be matched against, he said, looking at the black screen. This electronic screen will randomly select 2 contestants who will fight at a time. Now let's us begin. The genin waited for their names to pop up in the screen. Naruto just looked at the screen blankly. He wished he did not get someone who would waste his time. 2 names appeared in the screen. Uchiha Sasuke vs. Akado Yowa. Some felt relieved that they weren't going to fight first. Others were disappointed they wanted it over with. Will the 2 contestants please step forward? The rest of you please proceed to the observation platform above. Hayate spoke after coughing. The genins walked away to the observation area. The senseis stood behind their students. Sasuke looked at his opponent with an arrogant smirk on his face. He was fully prepared to fight. He had gotten enough rest. He took out a kunai and got into a stance. Yoroi took out 3 shurikens and held them with both his hands. He threw them at Sasuke. Sasuke waited for the shurikens to block them with his kunai. Yoroi ran at fast speeds towards Sasuke. The shurikens reached Sasuke. He deflected them. He was not able to react fast as Yoroi was in front of him while he was blocking the last shuriken. He had yet to activate his Sharingan, thus he was not able to detect the oncoming right hook from his opponent. It connected with his right side of the face and pushed him back. Sasuke cursed himself for making such a stupid mistake and getting hit early. He activated his Sharingan. He rushed towards the oncoming genin, prepared to a taijutsu battle. He was faster than his opponent, thus he was able to use the advantage of his speed. Yowa brought his right hand trying to smack Sasuke on the face, but Sasuke saw it coming and easily dodged. He tried to kick Sasuke, but the Uchiha caught his leg and landed a hard punch to the face. Sasuke let go of Yoroi's leg and spun around, kicking the genin on his shoulder. Yowa was sent crashing into the wall. He gritted his teeth at the slight pain he felt and quickly recovered, rushing off Sasuke. Sasuke waited for his opponent to arrive. Yowa jumped up, attempting to punch Sasuke with much force. Sasuke sidestepped the attempt and gutted the genin. Yowa hissed, clutching his stomach. Sasuke was not done. He brought out his right hand and gripped the genin by the neck. He glared at the genin with enough coldness that would make anyone gulp in fear. He was busy formulating a plan on what to do now that he had his opponent. Yoroi suddenly broke free from Sasuke's hold. He held Sasuke by his right hand, sucking out of his chakra. Sasuke only realized it when his reserves were starting to empty. He quickly tried to separate himself with Yoroi. What he got from his attempt was a hard kick on the face that sent him flying away. He flipped in midair and landed gracefully on the floor. He glared at his opponent, who had a grin on his face. Yowa looked as if he had won the match, but Sasuke was not going to give up easily because his chakra got sucked. He inhaled large amounts of wind and did a few hand seals. Fire style, great fireball. He exhaled a large fireball that sped towards the grinning Yowa. Sasuke was positive that his opponent would not be able to dodge since he was not faster than him. He ended the jutsu and fell on one knee, panting. His chakra was running low. He should have not done the jutsu. An insane chuckle invaded his ears. He looked forward to see Yowa standing just away from him, unharmed by his jutsu. I see you still had some chakra left. Yowa spoke with a bit of amusement in his voice. Sasuke just got up and glared at him. Yowa rushed forward so that he could end the match before the Uchiha came up with a plan to win the match. Sasuke waited till Yowa was in front of him. He acted fast and brought out his left hand, aiming Yoroi's face. Yowa saw it coming and grabbed Sasuke's hand. He smirked at the Uchiha, but it vanished quickly when he saw a white smirk on Sasuke's face. Before he could know why Sasuke was smirking, he received a punch to the gut that had him coughing a bit of blood. He let go of Sasuke's hand. Sasuke dropped to the ground and did a leg sweep. Yowa was falling down when Sasuke grabbed both his legs and spun around twice before throwing him up. Sasuke jumped up, moving faster than his opponent. Yowa looked up to see Sasuke waiting for him. Sasuke was facing down the ground when he mastered all his power in a single kick. The kick connected with Yoroi's chest, sending him down fast. Yova crashed to the ground with a sickening thud. Everyone winced at the sound of Yoroi's body hitting the ground. Sasuke landed down and smirked when he looked at Yova. He was out cold. Hayate stepped in forward and coughed before announcing the winner, Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke smiled and tiredly walked to where his team was standing. The medics rushed to take the fallen Yova out the floor to clear the space for other competitors. The next match was Kankuro vs. Shino. Naruto just watched with a rather bored look. At the beginning one could think that Kankuro was going to lose the match. But Kankuro ended up winning the match without harm. Kankuro was a puppet user. Shino had thought his bugs had sucked out Kankura's chakra. Too bad for him. The Kankuro the bugs were trying to extract chakra from was just a mere puppet. Shino knew that without his bugs being ineffective he could not win the match, thus he gave up after he had failed to see how he would win. Puppet users dealt with dangerous poison. To Naruto, poison was not a problem. The QB could counter any poison. It would take some time, but there was no way he could die from poisoning. Haruno Sakura and Ino Yamanaka were next. The match started with them bitching about some nonsense. Then it was the cat fight, more like pillow fight. It was the most pathetic excuse of a shinobi fight Naruto had ever seen. Both girls ended knocking each other out cold. Both had no skills of a ninja. They were weak, no physical strength. Their taijutsu was academy level. They seemed to have never trained after passing the academy. Naruto had not expected much from Sakura. He had seen that the girl does not train. Pathetic, Naruto muttered. Everyone who was close to him nodded in agreement with his words. Even Sasuke nodded. Kakashi had the decency to look ashamed of his student. Those were not ninjas fighting. It was academy school girls fighting over a crush. Had it been the finals, Konoha would have surely lost customers. If the Kunoichis fought the way Ino and Sakura fought, they would be killed each time they were out on a mission. If both girls were going to be serious about their careers, they needed to understand what it meant to be a ninja, or they would die soon and young. Naruto looked around the balcony to see that all the others had the same thoughts. The match was pathetic. His eyes narrowed at Gaara. It seemed that the Jinchuriku was getting impatient. Naruto shook his head. The view, Gaara was still his age and yet he was always looking for blood. Will Uzumaki, Naruto and Inuzuka Kiba step forward please? Hayate called out. Naruto's face remained impassive as he made his way towards the fighting area. Of all the people he could fight, he had been drawn against Kiba. Luck was really not on his side for the exams. He reached the fighting area and crossed his arms on his chest. He looked straight at Kiba's eyes with an impassive gaze. Kiba was grinning. He felt confident in his abilities. With all the training he had been doing, he believed that he could defeat Naruto. He did not know of how Naruto fought ever since his transformation, but he believed in his own abilities. With Akamaru by his side, he could beat anyone. Are both fighters ready? Hayate said. Kiba nodded. Naruto gave no response. Hayate just took the silence as a yes. Begin. I'm going to take you down, Naruto. Kiba spoke aloud with a confident grin. Akamaru barked, agreeing with his master's words. Naruto made no sign that he heard Kiba's words. Hey, did you hear me? Again Naruto did not respond. I'm talking to you, bastard. Kiba yelled out with a bit of anger at being ignored. Will you attack me already and stop annoying me? Naruto finally spoke. Kiba grinned. Let's do this, Akamaru, he said to his dog partner. Akamaru barked in acknowledgement of Kiba's words. Spectators Kakashi looked at Naruto as if he was studying him. Naruto was acting differently. He was not told in detail what had happened during the encounter with Orochimaru. He was only interested in that they were alive and the cursed mark Orochimaru had given Sasuke. He had sealed the curse mark but was not sure if it would hold. Looking at Naruto, he could tell something was wrong. He looked at Sasuke, who was watching from his left side. What's wrong with Naruto? Sasuke just shrugged. He did not care, nor was he seeing anything wrong with the blonde. Kakashi sighed, seeing Sasuke's response. Did something happen to him during the encounter with Orochimaru? He asked another question again. Sasuke was quiet for a moment. You should ask Naruto that question, he finally replied to his sensei. Kakashi nodded and looked at Sakura. The girl seemed nervous about something. He shrugged it off as nothing and looked back at Naruto and Kiba. Hinata felt a bit excited because she was going to see Naruto fight. She had never seen him fight ever since they became genin. He was always the source of her strength. She believed that she would fight bravely in her match should Naruto win his match. Shikamaru and other Konoha genins just watched on. They wanted to see what Naruto was capable of with their own eyes. Their senseis had said he was strong, but they had never seen him fight before. This was a good opportunity to see his abilities. Fighting flow, Kiba bended down and placed his hands on the ground. Akamaru jumped in front of him and turned into a clone of Kiba. Both took animalistic features compared to their normal selves. Gatsuga, Kiba yelled as he took the form of a spinning vortex. The spinning vortex sped at Naruto at fast speeds. Naruto just stood at his position with his hands still crossed at his chest. He waited for Kiba's attack to reach him. Kurenai looked at Naruto. What is he thinking standing there like that? If he gets hit, the match will be over, she thought to herself, wondering why Naruto was not even trying to dodge Kiba's attack. She knew Kiba's offensive attack was powerful and could cause a lot of damage if it hit. It was almost impossible to block. The only way she had been able to escape the attack was if she dodged. She had never attempted to block the attack. The spinning vortex reached Naruto, and when it looked like it was about to hit him, it missed. Kiba hit the ground and continued to spin furiously as it dug a hole on solid ground. The Gatsuga came out again from the ground and charged at Naruto. It missed him again. The same sequence continued for several times. None of the attempts hit Naruto. Several holes could be seen at the ground. What shocked many who were watching was that Naruto was still in the same position he was in. His hands still crossed on his chest while he was surrounded by many holes. Kiba stopped his attack and returned to normal. His fruitless attacks seemed to have taken a lot of chakra from him because his breathing was slightly labored. "Stay still, you bastard, so that I can hit you," he yelled in frustration. He tried the Gatsuga again, but still the results were the same. Naruto looked at the genin. "Is that all you can do?" he said. "How disappointing." His hands dropped from his chest and he blurred out of sight. He appeared in front of Kiba and kicked the genin on his waist, sending him crashing towards the wall. Akamaru had jumped up and did not fly away with Kiba. Cracks appeared on the wall where Kiba had hit. Akamaru barked as he charged at Naruto, looking to bite him. Naruto caught the small puppy and hit his head with his head. Small puppy felt unconscious. How brutal, some of the genins thought watching the fight. The only person who smiled was Subaku no Gaara. Naruto stood still waiting for Hayate to call the match. Hayate stepped forward. "Kiba is unable to fight. Winner Uzumaki Naruto," he announced. Naruto walked away as the medics rushed at Kiba to take him away to heal him. When he arrived at the balcony, he found Yuhi Kurenai waiting for him. Kurenai stared at Naruto with a bit of anger in her eyes. She was angry that Naruto had hit her student roughly. She believed he could have ended the match in a more harmless way. Naruto walked past by the woman without sparing her a glance. Kurenai grabbed his hand and held it firmly. She pulled him back in front of her. Naruto did to resist. Kurenai glared at him. Was it really necessary to beat him like that? Yes. Kurenai gritted her teeth in anger. She could not believe that he had just given her that kind of answer. Her hold on Naruto's hand tightened to extreme. A touch on her shoulder stopped her from doing something to Naruto. She looked around and saw Kakashi giving her one of his eye smiles. "Let it go, Kurenai," he said with a smile. "You are causing a scene." Kurenai looked around and saw that everyone was looking at them. She calmed herself down and let go of Naruto's hand and returned to Hinata's side. Kakashi smiled at Naruto. "You should take it easy on your fellow genins, Naruto." Naruto shrugged and walked past the genin. He did not take a fight easy. Taking it easy against genins would only give them confidence to continue fighting. With confidence, the fight would drag on more than he would like. He did not enjoy being dragged into a fight he found annoying. It was why he chose to end it quickly and brutally. Hayate coughed to get everyone's attention. The screen showed the next contestants. Hayate looked at the screen. "Will Subaku no Gaara and Tsuchikin step forward to the arena, please?" he called out. Gaara entered the arena via Sunshine while Kin walked down the arena. Kin looked at Gaara's face. He had something that resembled a smile. His face scared her. He had eyes that were cold and viewed her life as nothing more than another life to be devoured. She could feel the aura of bloodlust radiating from the sand genin. She feared for her life looking at the genin. Are both fighters ready? Hayat called out. Both contestants nodded. Begin. I hope you liked the video. Next part in next video. See you in next video. Take care.